evening, everyone. I'm Kamenanchev. Welcome to another edition of Red Wolves Live. A-State was held scoreless in both of the past two first halves, but they sure made up for it today with 31 first half points, which were part of a 52-10 win over Georgia State. Blake Gwynn was in Atlanta earlier today, so let's head to the Georgia Dome for his thoughts.
A fantastic game for Arkansas State as they took on Georgia State here in the Georgia Dome. Really not much you can complain about if you're the Red Wolves. They absolutely took care of business against Georgia State. Really, let's go to the numbers to tell you the story. Arkansas State, 384 rushing yards total, 71 for Georgia State. I think that basically tells the story. We're going to talk about individual numbers coming up, going to name some player of the games, all that coming up later on Red Wolves Live.
Thanks, Blake. That's quite a road trip to cover the game, but I imagine it was worth it seeing all the Red Wolves points. Let's see them again right now. Blake Anderson's quarterback, Freddie Knighton, has struggled the past two games, but not today. Freddie was fantastic. First quarter, Freddie finds a wide open Darian Griswold for a 7-yard touchdown, 7-0 Red Wolves. Jonesboro alum Luke Ferguson has struggled in the kicking game of late, but here he makes a 26-yard field goal, 10-0 ASU. Still first quarter, Michael Gordon's playing in his second game off injury, and he looks like the flash of old. Look at this. He bursts in the open field, and he's untouched into the end zone, 17-0 A-State. Then Freddie finds Dijon Pasco over the middle right here for a 48-yard gain. Pasco had just 2 catches, but they totaled for a career-high 89 yards. That sets up another touchdown as this time the other tight end is wide open. Kenny Raines would score from 2 yards out, and it's 24-0. Arkansas State had 244 total yards in the first quarter. The defense was great too, as here Javon Roland-Jones makes a big sack. The offense was quieter the second quarter, but late in the first half, Michael Gordon gets in the open field again, and he does Michael Gordon things, as his 53-yard run puts the Red Wolves in the red zone. That sets up Johnston White, who fakes the handoff to J.D. McKissick right here and keeps it himself for a 13-yard score. A-State led 31-3 at the half. The third quarter would be a lot like the first. It was filled with A-State points. Michael Gordon takes the ball and dives in the end zone for a second rushing touchdown, 38-3 Red Wolves. We've seen so much offense, so let's not forget about the D and give them some love too. As Andrew Tryon picks off Georgia State backup QB Ben McClain, the starter Nick Arbuckle was averaging more than 300 yards a game and was held to just 162. Then Freddie throws his third touchdown of the game, and get this, the third different tight end catches it as Warren Leaphart picks up his first career TD. A good moment. The Red Wolves win 52-3 as A-State fans celebrate, and here are the players.
E-S means victory. State!
Athletic Director Terry Mohajir embrace. Those two sure had to be happy with the W. Let's take a look at the stats that made the difference. Michael Gordon had himself a career day with 188 rushing yards. Gordon averaged 10.4 yards per carry and also found the end zone twice. Freddie was fantastic with 215 passing yards and 93 rushing yards. Knighton had 3 touchdowns through the air and 1 more on the ground. He also completed 20 of his 25 passes. Sounds like an offensive stats overload, but that's the story of the game. And all the Red Wolves rack up 618 total yards and 52 points. Both are season bests. The defense allowed just 269 total yards and 10 points. Well, you've seen the highlights and the stats. Now it's time to hear from Coach Anderson on the win. That's next on Red Wolves Live. Welcome back to Red Wolves Live. A-State's offense had its best game of the season, and the defense was dominant yet again. Arkansas State beat Georgia State 52-10 as the Red Wolves improved to 2-0 in Sun Belt play. We'll hear from the players in a bit, but first, here's Coach Anderson on today's performance.
Wow, excited about how the guys played. We've not played a complete game, I really don't think, up until now. Been too many mistakes to be consistent and challenge the guys. We had to bring it all together. We're honestly extremely nervous about Georgia State's offense. Thought the defense stepped up and played great early, and the offense was able to get the ball in the end zone when they needed to early and just kind of set the tempo for the game. But all in all, the most complete game we played. The effort was good. Eliminated some mistakes. Still some things we got to fix, obviously, but all in all, really proud of the way the guys played. And even going into the second half, when a lot of times you'll have a letdown with inexperience with as many young guys as we've got, a lot of times with the score like it was, they will let up a little bit, and I just thought they hammered down and had a great second half as well. Came out of it relatively healthy and on to a big game against Lafayette in a week and a half. So.
Yeah, this is like the fastest we got going all year, you know. I was kind of still disappointed because I didn't get 200 yards. That's been my goal all year, you know, try to get 200, at least one game. I like the way the team came out to play today.
I asked Coach the same question. Penalties and turnovers kind of hurt you on offense all year. How do you think you did today?
We still had a couple penalties that we should have back. I had 2 balls on the ground, and one of those between me and Cox, and we just got to work on that. We got to get better at those handoffs. We haven't done a lot this year. We got to get better at that. And, the second one, Bonner, he's a young guy. He's got to learn to get his pads down. Bring the ball up close to his chest. But we'll be fine. We're getting better at it. Just got to limit the mistakes, and we still left a lot of points out there. So we got to go out and get better at that.
As far as coming into the season, I know I told you this earlier. A lot of people had questioning. The D-line was questionable. People didn't think we were going to get after them, and for us to come out here and have these games where we hold people under 100 yards rushing, it means everything to me, probably more than even in the pass rush, really.
There you have it. You've heard from the coach, the offense, and the defense. Coming up after the break, we'll give you our players of the game. Welcome back to Red Wolves Live. It seems like each week we've been asking, is Michael Gordon healthy? When is he going to be back to full form? Well, after today, maybe we won't talk about this again. Gordon not only proved he's back, but maybe showed that he's as good as ever. The speed was there, the explosiveness was there. You see it all here on this 50-yard touchdown run. Gordon finished with a career-high 188 rushing yards on just 18 carries. Gordon also had 2 touchdowns in the win. As fantastic as Freddie was, as great as the defense was, and certainly a lot of credit goes to the offensive line, but Michael Gordon's definitely my player of the game, and it's exciting to see him healthy again. Gordon was great, but it certainly was a team effort on both sides of the ball. Blake was in Atlanta and has more.
Common, a great day for the Red Wolves. It seems like all season long we've really been waiting for them to really find that click that they've been looking for. I think they did that here today. Not much that you can complain about. Michael Gordon with a career game, 188 yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Freddie Knighton had a fantastic game. He had a ton of yards through the air, 215 to be exact. He had 3 touchdowns passing. He had 1 rushing. Let's talk about the defense, folks. We can't forget about them. Nick Arbuckle is a fantastic quarterback, one of the top in the conference. They held him to a very limited number today, only 162 yards passing. They sacked him 4 times. They picked off the backup quarterback as well. Really only allowed 1 touchdown, but that was in garbage time at the very end. Here's what we need to look for. We need to look for Arkansas State to build off of this. They've got to turn the page. This was a good win, but they've got to go for a conference win. They can't do anything unless they beat Louisiana Lafayette in a couple of weeks, really about a week and a half. They play that Tuesday night game, so we're looking to that. Can they use this to build off of it and go forward to beat Louisiana Lafayette? We're here in the Georgia Dome, Connor. We'll send it back to you.
You'll hear more from the leader of the pack tomorrow night. It's the 6th edition of the Blake Anderson Show. It's produced right here in the KIT studios as Coach will break down the Georgia State game. The Blake Anderson Show is tomorrow at 10:35, right after Region 8 News at 10. Again, A-State beats Georgia State 52-10 to improve to 2-0 in Sun Belt play. As Blake set up next for the Red Wolves, a road trip to take on Louisiana Lafayette. That game will be on ESPN2 with first kick set for Tuesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. I'll be at the game and we'll have a preview next week on Red Wolves Live. Have a great night, everyone.